Hello everyone, here's another bonus video. We're going to continue with Video Game Quest Action Adventure. Arcade Action is the section that we're in. And we're going to go through the letters B, C, and the beginning of D. So, here we go. First game from, and for those of you who haven't seen the other video on this, this is a video game buyer's guide. I believe it came out in 1990. That as a kid, I originally found in a store called Building 19 3/4 in the Boston area, and it was cool at the time because it had all these games for systems that I had never even heard of. Like, for example, SMS. I didn't know the Sega Master System. I thought that was Genesis for a while. I didn't know that it was actually system before the Genesis. So as a kid, I was kind of retarded when it came to, what systems were what. But, and there were some games that I had as a kid for, like, Game Boy, because it was the only system I had at the time, that were actually located in this book. So the first game, without further ado, we'll see is Bubble Bobble. There's a picture of it right there, okay? And for the NES, it's from Taito Software, one player or one or two alternating. Addictive Action. Travel with Bub and Bob, two Brontosaurus buddies, on a magical mission to save their two friends from the evil clutches of the infamous Baron von Blubba. Now, blow bubbles and burst the Baron's beastie buddies. Complete the more than 226 levels and a happy ending will reveal itself. Well, that sounds exciting, but it's a cult classic, Bubble Bobble. A lot of people love the game. Next game is from Vic Tokai. It's called Bump and Jump. Okay, there's a. Let me see if I can zoom out. Yeah, there's a picture. Bump and Jump. Okay, let me zoom in to the picture part. That's what it looks like. And let's zoom back out. So it's a one-player game from Vic Tokai for the NES. You're cruising along with your baby bunny in your buggy when from behind you hear this brain-boggling baroom. It's Dark Jackal and his beastly bank of blacktop bullies. They buzz by, and when the smoke clears, the passenger seat's bare. These dudes have kidnapped your baby, Bunny. Only you and the buggy can bring her back, but not without a bone-bouncing chase that makes the Indy 500 look like bumper cars. Over jam-packed city streets and treacherous curves on mountain cliffs, past Dark Jackal's bullies to catch his buggy and Bunny, and the cops are bearing down on you from behind. So there you go. Next is another classic game called Burger Time for the NES. It's from Data East. It's one player, one or two alternating. Let's zoom in on the cover art. There's Burger Time. And for the NES, as Chef Peter Pepper, you must fend off the food foes while making perfect burgers. The challenge grows progressively tougher through the 6 stages of Burger Time. The next game is Chubby Cherub. It's the last one, no picture. But it's from Bandai America, one player, one or two alternating for the NES. A cute little angel with a trouble-filled life, Chubby Cherub will steal your heart with his adorable antics. He gets attacked by dogs, pecked by birds, and covered with smoke. Even firecrackers are thrown at him because he wants to get some food to eat and help people. You can help Chubby Cherub get out of trouble in this fast-paced, fun-filled game pack. And with you at the controls, Chubby Cherub can perform his good deeds and make his day a happy one. So, that's that page. Now let's go up to Circus Caper. Let's zoom in on the photo of the game. This is from Toho, the makers of Godzilla, and also the creators of the licensing for the Godzilla movies. Toho Company in Japan. It's coming out. Actually, this is pretty cool. It actually says it's coming out in August 1990. So it hadn't even been released yet. But it's a one-player game. Thrills, action, fantasy. Circuses are major events in the world of children. Circus Caper captures all the thrills of a circus into a video game. A joyful carnival adds even more interest in the form of go-karts, a shooting gallery, and all the trimmings. Even Godzilla, speak of the devil, towers among the characters. Follow two children in their challenge against hostile clowns, tightrope artists, and ferocious animals controlled by a ruthless trainer. The next game is from Jalico, makers of Bases Loaded. It's a one-player, one or two alternating for the NES called City Connection. I apologize for my camera work here. Let's zoom in on City Connection. There you go. Your mission, race your speed demon car from New York to Tokyo in record time. Tour city after city on the way and make points. The police and the enemy are hot on your tail. Outsmart them by knocking them out with your arsenal of oil cans or escape them using the three-tiered highway. The next three games do not have any pictures. One's called Clue Clue Land from Nintendo of America. It's a one-player game, or one or two alternating. As an aquatic maze with an evil sea urchin that will try and stop you from finding the stolen gold bars. Remember, watch out for the black holes. Next is called Dash Galaxy in the Alien Asylum. It's a one-player game for the NES from Data East. Dash Galaxy is a secret agent marooned on the Forbidden Planet. He must take over an alien spaceship, but first he has to fight his way to the control room at the top. Dash's fighting maneuvers include running, jumping, somersaults, and handsprings, and he uses everything from hidden pass cards to explosives to fight his way to the finish. Last game, under development, had not been created yet, called Death Ball for the Game Boy by Kemco CKA Corporation. It's a one-player game. What we will do is we'll finish actually the letter D and then go to the beginning of the E. Next page is Defender 2 from HAL America, makers of Revenge of the Gator for the Game Boy. If you've seen my Game Boy videos, you know that. If you hear stuff in the background, I apologize. My dog can't decide whether she wants to lie down or sit on the couch or what she's doing. But this is for the NES, one player, one or two alternating. Let me show you the photo here of the game. There's Defender 2, classic game. The all-time shoot-'em-up classic. Protect the inhabitants of the planet from attack by space aliens. An infinite combination of attack patterns and the ability to warp to other sections of the planet combined to make each game a new challenge. Here's a sequel to the original Dig Dug called Dig Dug 2 by Bandai, one-player game for the NES. Let's go into the Zoom. Dig Dug 2, Trouble in Paradise. So, Dig Dug has decided to take a long overdue vacation on a beautiful Caribbean island. At last, he thinks to himself, sun, sand, surf, and no more hassles from those miserable pests Puka and Figar. Lying in a hammock strung between the graceful palm trees, he drifts off into a blissful dream of beautiful bikini-clad native girls catering to his every wish. But just when he thinks he's got it made in the shade, along come his troublesome enemies. Help Dig Dug rid the island of these irritating intruders and bring tranquility back to his vacation by the sea. And then the next three games have no pictures. One's Donkey Kong 3 from Nintendo of America, one player, one or two alternating for the NES. Pesky snakes and bees join Donkey Kong's attack on Stanley and his greenhouse full of flowers. Stanley's only defense is a spray can and your accuracy. Then you got Donkey Kong for the NES, one player, one or two alternating from Nintendo of America. The original Donkey Kong rides again. Pauline still needs to be rescued in this classic arcade video game. Work your way up the ladders and elevators to send Donkey Kong for a fall. Then the last game, one player, one or two alternating, Nintendo of America Donkey Kong Classics, I should say the last game on this page. This combination cartridge features Donkey Kong, where you rescue Mario's girl from Donkey Kong's clutches by making it to the top of the obstacle-filled construction site, and Donkey Kong Jr. In this one, you've got to rescue your papa from Mario's prison, but you'll have to fight off enemy birds, jump onto moving islands, and break through a jungle of vines to save them. Next game is Donkey Kong Jr., which we just talked about in the Donkey Kong Classics. This is from Nintendo of America for the NES. It's a one-player, one or two alternating. Let's get out of here. Your mission is to free Donkey Kong from a cage. How to do it? Capture Mario, who holds the keys. 4 rounds in the jungle will set Donkey Kong free. Next game is from Trade West. It's all for the NES and Game Boy. One-player head-to-head cooperative play. Double Dragon. Very, very big classic game. Double Dragon is a story of Billy and Jimmy Lee, twin brothers who learned to fight on the cold, tough streets of the city. Their expert knowledge of the martial arts combined with their street smarts has made them both formidable fighting machines. But now Billy is faced with his greatest challenge. His girlfriend Marion has been kidnapped by the Black Warriors. Using whatever weapons come to hand, knives, whips, bats, and more, Billy must pursue the gang through the slums, factories, and wooded outskirts to reach the hideout for his final confrontation with the Shadow Boss, his brother Jimmy. This is notable, this game, not only for one of the best beat-em-ups, hard beat-em-up, but it actually, on the Nintendo, it's one of the, I think, only games ever, or one of the very, very, very few games ever to actually tell you the end of the story. I mean, tell you, the who's behind the kidnapping. I mean, normally in games you play through the game and then you find out the ending or you find out what happens or pieces fall into place. This game was one of the notable ones where it actually just told you what's going on, who did it, and why. And you still got to play the game to see what, I guess, why. I mean, you know what I mean? So it was very, very weird. There was also a Double Dragon for the Sega Master System from Sega. One-player head-to-head cooperative play. The arcade sensation. It's an arcade port. You are Jimmy and Billy Lee, and you must take on the meanest brawlers on the street to rescue a beautiful damsel in distress. Has all the features of the arcade version, and 2 players can play at the same time. Next game is from Acclaim Entertainment. It's a sequel to Double Dragon called Double Dragon 2: The Revenge. One-player head-to-head. Martial arts action based on the hit video game. Now a 2-player head-to-head game for Nintendo with 7 action-packed stages, multiple score feature, and that's what it looks like. Double Dragon 2: The Revenge. It says, based on the hit video game, 7 action-packed stages, multiple score feature. Okay, cool. And then the last game on this page is called Dragon Spirit by Bandai. I believe it's an RPG-type game. It's a 1-player game. In the kingdom of Midgrald, the fearful tale of King Amru's heroic battle with the demon Zaul has been long forgotten by his happy subjects. When Amru's marriage to Alicia was blessed with the birth of the royal twins, the kingdom took it as a sign that the fates were looking favorably upon them. Little did they know that the wicked Galda had been amassing an army of evil. Even the fearsome Zaul had been resurrected from the dead to join the murderous cause. Suddenly, Galda strikes and kidnaps Cyrus and her maidens for a sacrificial offering. To rescue her, Amru must reveal the secret of the magical sword of Arlia to his son, Prince Lace. Sounds very, very complicated. Next game, last 2 games, there is no E in this section, there is an F, but we'll go to the last 2 in D, and we'll call it a day here. First game is called Dragon Spirit for the TurboGrafx 16 from NEC Home Electronics. It's a 1-player game. In this prehistoric world, even the trees and volcanoes are bent on your destruction. Survive those onslaughts, and you'll still have to fend off hordes of ferocious creatures that dive from the skies and rise from the sea. And the last game from Vic Tokai is called Dweebers. I'll zoom in on the photo here. That's what Dweebers looks like. 1-player game. So what if you've got a styrofoam face? Hey, it's a dweeb world out there. Dweebers know that. That's why we've given your hero a steam iron face, grasshopper legs, and little booties that look like Volkswagens. Think that's outrageous? Wait till you meet up with your fish larva enemies. Come on, what are you waiting for? Be a dweeb. So that's the letters last of B, C, and all of D. Tune in next week. We will do F, G, and H. In this section, and look forward to the next video. It's going to be an exciting video because there's a major release happening on the 11th of November, which is next Tuesday, this coming Tuesday. So get ready for the next video. It'll be uploaded shortly. Thanks for watching.